wasn't light, but it was cool. It was some mid, and I kind of expect that because, like I said, pandemic, bro. We're not getting a lot, bro. For Xbox to be giving what they're giving us, which means that they have had games just sitting waiting to go, means a lot.
Yeah.
But like everybody else, bro, like I was expecting. I don't know.
Yeah, it's whatever. Like I said, I'm not the type of person. Me personally, I know other people. Oh, it's whatever. That's fine. I'm not one to. Oh man, this sucked. This E3
Yeah,
sucked.
like nah.
It's just simply was. It's whatever. I will say though, my because I only judge um, critique presentations on their ability to actually show, uh, like as far as like presentations and not what they showed. I can't be like they didn't show anything I liked. This conference sucked. I can't say that because it's. I mean, I guess I could. I can say whatever I want, but I'm not one to say that just because I didn't see what I liked. That being said, I think there were some conferences as conference that shouldn't have either been that or have been structured differently. And I think it's, for me, honestly, it's Capcom
Yeah,
and maybe Square.
yeah.
I think Capcom for sure shouldn't have had a conference. That's something because they only showed things they and I wasn't they literally I was not expecting
No,
anything
that's what
at
they
all.
said.
Yeah, but
I think
uh
Warner Bros too, because Warner Bros just showed was it Back for Blood or something like that.
yeah,
Like
they
if
said they were gonna do that. Man.
yeah, like if you, I mean, there's no knock to just showing off one game because it's still a conference at the end of the day. But it's like you know what E3 is. If you only got the one game, bro, just pack it and we'll be cool.
The thing is, and it's easy for me to say that, admittedly, because I know the power that E3 has as far as advertising goes, which is why Capcom did that, right? Because you get
Right, you
developers
got to
pay
take the.
money to,
It's like
yeah,
gaming Super Bowl. Like you got to take advantage of the ad space.
yeah. So like, I'm not gonna knock it. You know, it's fine because I understand. Oh, we want people to, hey, we have Ace Attorney and some things coming out and stuff, which is cool. That's fine and all. Um, it's just yeah, as far as like showings, these things that are already have been announced, that we already knew about, and they were just like, yeah, we're just going to show more of these, um, and also esports. Uh, and I think about it, I was like, oh, I probably
Yeah,
that
what did
didn't
they
need
show
to
that was
be a
related to
conference.
esports? Cause I saw like people were tweeting about. I didn't stream Capcom. Kind of knew like it was what it was. But what was their esports related content?
Oh, they were just talking about Capcom Cup, I think.
Oh, like just like Street Fighter and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Mm.
but yeah, that was pretty much it. Um, which is fine. I wasn't expecting. That wasn't like that meant nothing to me. It was fine. Um, Square, um,
Chaos. Chaos is
man.
coming. Chaos. I'm
Wants
looking
to
for
feed chaos.
chaos. Where's chaos? It's
Oh
like
man,
goodness gracious. I didn't even know what
here's
they
the thing.
bro, I didn't know they were promoting Final Fantasy Origins at all because I
He
was so
wants to
hot.
feed chaos.
Chaos.
Here's the thing. I have some things about that. Hold on. The conference itself was fine. I'm not gonna lie. And they did, and here's why I'm not upset at the conference is because I don't know if it was them specifically. It was them or somebody said, "Hey, don't expect Final Fantasy things at this conference. It's just going to be Life is Strange. They're going to show the new Guardians. They're going to talk about that Final Fantasy Origins thing, but that's about it. So don't expect like Final Fantasy 16 news or remake news. I was for sure not expecting remake news, because we're
Yeah.
not going to see that for a
And they
very
just
long time.
dropped to integrate. Like that's not
Yeah,
gonna happen.
so,
That's too close.
um,
It's too close,
yeah.
bro.
Um, and I would have liked to seen 16 stuff, but I read like a week before that they weren't going to show 16 here. So I'm like, all right, this is Square's conference is going to be Life is Strange and their other stuff. I'm not gonna lie, I do. I'm one of these people. Um, I know how big Square has gotten, but I'm not gonna lie, I do miss the JRPG Square. Um,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
personally don't care about some of the other stuff that oh my gosh, my voice that they've done. I'm not really into Life is Strange. just because I'm not really into those style of games, with the exception of some Telltale games. Uh, but I'm not really into Life is Strange.
That's crazy when you
Um,
think about it. Like, who do you go for or go to for your RPGs? Like, Square still does them, of course, but like, who is the RPG like developer?
oh, it's probably still Square Enix.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they still have that on lock, and they
Yeah.
haven't really been doing like nothing crazy. Like, as far as like, excuse me, as far as like putting out like newer titles, like new IPs of RPGs, like they haven't done that in a minute.
Oh, like new stuff. Okay. Yeah, I think they're. I mean, I have to really look, and it might not be Square anymore. Honestly, I got to look at that. I know some other companies, you know, do stuff, but I'm trying to remember. I think their newest IP was Octopath.
Yeah,
I could be wrong.
yeah.
Um,
Let me
but
check. Or
yeah, I'm just not into Life is Strange and stuff. Um, Guardians looked cool. I like the banter. I think it went on for too long.
the thing with
But
me
I'm
in the
just
Guardians
Avengers
game,
cut me off so much.
it's the Marvel and Square partnership. I like it because it's Marvel games coming out, but like I don't know. For some reason, I feel like they're not like really taking advantage of what Marvel is, bro. If that makes any sense, like
Yeah.
how much like you can go crazy. It's kind of like if you gave Arc System the Marvel catalog to do a fighting game, they're gonna go bananas, bro, because there's so much that you can do
Yeah.
there. I feel like they're playing it safe with a lot of like the MCU shit. Like, well, we got an Avengers game because people are familiar with the Avengers. We got Guardians of the Galaxy because people are familiar with Guardians, but like you're not risk taking anything. Like, of course, people are gonna buy it because Star Lord and Rocket and Groot. Like, but
Hmm.
where's like oh y'all making a Hulk game, and even then
Yeah.
that's not risk taking, but it's still like we haven't seen this in a long time.
Yeah. Is this a Defenders game? That's crazy.
Yeah, like where's that at? Daredevil? I think Daredevil as a
Oh,
game would be phenomenal. To double back though, the last Square drop, well, World Ends with You comes out the 27th, but Saga Frontier came out the 15th. I'm pretty sure that was just like a port. Um, Balan Wonderland came out in March, and that did not do too well.
I heard that did not. That's not a good game, from what I've
Bravely
heard.
Default 2 is the latest like Square drop, and then before that was Trials of Mana, which is a remake. uh Final Fantasy 7, which is a remake, Romance Saga remake, and then they dropped like the eights. Like they haven't really like done anything like new since like Bravely Default 2, Kingdom Hearts 3, and Octopath Traveler.
For sure. I guess there's the Quest. I forgot about the Dragon Quest conference and stuff. Um, I suppose. Um, yeah, 'cause they announced. Did you hear about the Dragon Quest little
Nah,
conference thing?
a Dragon Quest conference.
Oh yeah, this was like a couple months ago. They announced the new Dragon Quest. Um, Dragon Quest was the 12th, I think they're on. They said
Yeah.
going to be a bit more not adult thing, but a bit more older. They said. They also announced a remake of I think Dragon Quest 3 and the style of Octopath.
Ah, I did see that. That's where they said they redesigned it. I did see those trailers. I didn't know where those trailers came from, but I did see that.
Yeah, that's where all that. Yeah. Um, yeah. But anyways, going back to the Square thing, the thing that like I said, Square is a conference. I mean, it was a conference. It delivered on its ability to showcase like products to us. Right. I think they did spend a lot of time on Avengers, but I mean that's or not Avengers, Guardians. But like that's what they wanted to show. I like seeing gameplay of it, at least. I think I'll probably enjoy Guardians more than I enjoyed Avengers and stuff. I'm not
See,
necessarily super looking forward to it, but like I'll probably play it.
I'm gonna go back and retry Avengers. I know I keep saying that, but I will go back and try it because they're dropping free content. I can, if the game is some mid, right? Which I would agree that, or I think everybody would agree that Avengers is some mid. It's not bad. It's not like terrible. It could be better, but at least you're giving me free content. At least I'm not paying for the mid.
Hmm.
I would definitely go and try it. Like, you're trying to do like different stories. You got the Black Panther expansion coming out. Like, you did the whole like Future Hulk thing. Like, I'll give it. I'll give it a shot. Um, I will. I am not a fan of your game being mid and then making me pay for the like some mid like afterwards. Like, I don't. Nah.
Yeah,
We're not doing that.
yeah. No, yeah, for sure, absolutely. But there's two things in the Square conference that like definitely I was like, what's going on here? And it was definitely chaos. Chaos.
Chaos.
Man, everything about what happened there is just truly
The
unfortunate.
fact that my man's was wearing his uniform from Panera, like
Man,
that man pulled up
he
like
had on
he just had a full 8 hour shift with a sword.
and just pulled up. He's like, let me grab my sword really quick. It's time to kill chaos.
He was an Uber Eats driver in the Final Fantasy world. Like, bro, what?
I'm like, what's going on here? I'm like, I don't know, like that, and I will say this, and that showing of that game, um, that dialogue was awful. I
Oh, it
did
was
not like
terrible.
what the characters had to say in that trailer. All around, everyone. I don't know what was going on there. All I know is that Nomura is involved. I don't want to say, I don't know if he's like the director or what, he just might be character designer.
Mm.
But like the first thing I heard was Nomura being involved, and I'm like, okay, that makes sense from what I've heard people say in the Kingdom Hearts franchise. But like that dialogue was awful. I didn't like what was going on there at all. Um, some of the combat looked cool from the little bit we've seen.
It reminded me like
Um,
Devil May Cry Final Fantasy though. Like,
yeah, it's like the Team Ninja makes good combat, so like I'm sure they'll
that would
play.
make sense.
Yeah, yeah, people, Neo and other stuff.
That would make
Um,
sense.
so I know the combat will probably be decent by at release, but like man, the character design, dialogue, I was not feeling I don't know what's going on here.
They
And
put
the
out
only conclusion I can come to is that somebody said this. Um, those characters got isekai into a Final Fantasy universe.
meaning.
Um, Isekai. I'm gonna be this dude.
Educate me
An,
real
is-
quick. Put me on.
an isekai. An isekai is a genre of anime uh, in which you are transported to a fantasy world. I know you've like heard or
Oh,
seen
like
anime like that.
Sword Art.
Yes, that will be an isekai. It's like a subgenre now at this point because there's a lot of anime at this point that are an isekai. Like, oh, I died and was transported into this fantasy world. There's a lot of those, um, because they had posted like the renders of the characters. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if you've seen this,
No, I didn't see
and the
that.
renders of the three characters, they were wearing like just regular people clothes in these renders. Like the black dude was just wearing like a jacket and some jeans and stuff. But in the trailer, he actually had full armor. Um, Same with the other dude. So people are like, okay, they're probably like somehow get start wearing like these fantasy armor and stuff. So they probably like get transported into this world or something. Is what people are assuming, and I hope that's the case because of what's going on. But yeah, and after all that, they dropped the demo and it bricked, not bricked, but
That was
didn't work.
beyond a break. That was not ready to come out at all.
That's just unfortunate. all everything surrounding that is just so unfortunate. We show this little thing, now people are making fun of it. At least we have this demo though. This demo is gonna sell. Oh, the demo doesn't work. That's just unfortunate.
And maybe like, and that's the thing too. Like, if once again, I understand, pandemic aside, if that was like the case, like your trailer didn't explain what was going on. I only knew that it was a Final Fantasy game because of like I heard the word like Garland, and it made me think about Final Fantasy 14, not Final Fantasy 1. So with that being said, like
Oh yeah, I thought it was gonna be a remake or some sort of reimagining of Final Fantasy One.
I had no idea because most people, we don't talk about Final Fantasy 1. Like you talk about your mainstays, which are 7, 8, 9, 10, 6 if you really are like an OG. Um, but I was like, what is this? And who asked for this? Like, not saying that it could be bad, not saying that at all, but nobody asked for a remake to Final Fantasy 1, like at all.
Yeah, and it's not even. See, I would have been down for that if it was like, because from what I've read, I thought it was gonna be like, oh, is this going to be a action paced remake of Warrior or the Final Fantasy One where we play as like the Warrior of Light and like it's this sort of more action oriented game. That sounds sick. I'd be down for that. It was not that. I'm sad to say. It definitely was not that. The second thing that I was a little like, what's going on here? Was actually Babylon's Fall.
And see, I thought the game looked dope, right? I was like, oh, this looks tight. And then I was reading some stuff, and they changed the entire game. So I went to go back and look at what it was.
Did
And
you?
it's supposed to be like
Yeah,
Bayonetta, and I was like, oh, I see why
I
people
did
are.
that too. I
Oh,
literally did the exact same thing
people was
because I
like
was
they
like,
changed the entire game. I was like, what are you talking about? I
I
thought it was
was
a
like,
new IP.
yeah, because yeah, they really did the state of play on it last year, and that's when I
Mm-hmm.
first learned about it. And I was like, all I read was platinum. I was like, platinum, I'm in. You don't gotta say anything, platinum, I'm down. And then they showed gameplay, and I'm like, okay, this looks sick. This look like a typical platinum game, but this looks sick. It looks dope. I like my character action games. It's platinum. I'm down. This is gonna be dope. Then they showed it off again, and I was like, this looks different. Why does it look like super misty or like blurry? And the art
Yeah,
style looks different. And this looks like a different game. And I thought I was tripping at first. Um, but somebody, a journalist or whatever, posted on Twitter, and they posted like, "What did Square do to this game?" And I'm like, "Oh, what is he talking about? It doesn't look too different from the." And I watched the old trailer, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this is a
yeah, like
different
that,
game. This is
entirely
a
different
different
game.
game." Oh man, so I'm wondering what happened, and I'm going to be. This is not something that's like not something that's unlike Square, unfortunately. But I'm going to be very upset if this is the case of like, um, if this is oh, Platinum had a thing that they were doing and Square pulled up and was like, actually, let's do this
Let's
instead.
change it. Yeah. Who did that? Shit, it was Final Fantasy. Was it 15? Where they changed the whole trajectory of what the game was supposed to be, which is why you got this weird like incomplete game.
Well, that was different. That was Nomura and some other. That was different. That wasn't like Square coming in and like you need to change. It was Nomura being the original. I believe he was the original director, and
Going
some
a different
things falling
direction.
through.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, that wasn't a Square thing. Well, I guess it's Square because that's Square. But yeah, that's a him thing. That's a little different. But yeah, I mean, I guess I'll still give it a shot because like I mean I'm not like against live service type games like MMOs and Destinies and stuff. I'm not against that, but
It just has to be good and make me want to be invested in your live service game. You can't just throw
for
out
sure.
like, oh, some content and then expect everything to be okay. Like, no, like, bro, like, let me like, give me like substance, you know?
Hmm.
Let me eat off this. And a lot of games don't do that. A lot of games just drop and then like, oh, we have the next patch in 6 months. I came to the conclusion I really like roadmaps. Cause it lets me know when like stuff's supposed to be coming out. Like when you drop a roadmap for a game and let's say it's not like done or whatever, like I can give you leeway because you're showing me the schedule of what you're trying to do. Most games don't do that.
Yeah, um, for sure. I do also like to know what's about to come out and such. But yeah, like if it's just a in the same vein to that of like a Fantasy Star Online or something, and these is hyper action multiplayer type games, um, that can be played with other people. Uh, I'd be okay with that as long as it's not, as long as the monetization is consumer friendly. Um, but if it's like an obvious cash grab that was meant to be something else, but they pivoted into something completely different, it's going to be unfortunate. But yeah, those were the two things that score, and I was just like, what's going on here?
What made you think that like, or what do you know that makes Babylon Fall a live service? Like, what have they said?
They said it's a live service.
So it's in the form of like it's like a Destiny.
Yeah, games that's meant to be. Well, this I guess this qualifies as any game that's meant to be um, played over extended period of time.
Gotcha.
Essentially,
Which
these
is
games can include like MMOs or like your Destinies, your Anthems, your Outsiders. Um, However, the reason why that turns people off sometimes is because the last few times that you notice how like um you don't ever hear the word live service from like Final Fantasy 14 or anything,
right,
or even like from Destiny. I don't think, I could be wrong in that regard,
right,
because they just simply make the game that they want to make,
right.
or they just simply make the game. You notice these past few times that developers have come out and said, "Oh yeah, we want to make a live service game, like Anthem and such,"
Yep.
uh, have failed because
This is true.
they're like, "Oh, we want to make a game that is meant to be played forever," and that's what they go into, and they, for the purpose of making money. I can't speak to the developers specifically, but publishers and C-level, but to making money. Um, and for me, in my opinion, I don't think it simply works that way. I think you just simply make a good game.
And focus on not well. You don't even, like I said, you don't tell people it's a live service. You just make the game what it is, and people just
Yeah,
have to accept it for what it is. But the
yeah,
thing about like Final Fantasy 14 that makes it so good is that like one, it is $15, right? So you do have the subscription that kind of like funds like them to like do their future projects and whatnot. But inside that game, there's just so much like shit to do. You can't with a live service game, you gotta have it to where like you don't have to think about what you're doing the next month, you know?
hmm,
Like even like the OGs of like Final Fantasy 14 have like maxed out all their characters, so they're constantly playing the game. And that even when you max out all your characters, there's still something that you can provide with that. Like, oh, okay, I'm gonna max out my characters. That means I can play whatever I want when I want. Either way, you're still playing the game. And like that has like mad benefits. Like I'll max out 3 characters in Destiny and be like, well, what's next? What do I do from here?
for sure. Yeah, like yeah. And for me, it's just like either you have it or you don't. Um, and I've so far recently, I've found developers that try to purposefully try to make that end up falling up short just a little bit. Although I guess no matter what, the
Oh yeah,
intention is to make a game like that.
because what was
Um,
what was the name of the game? It was a a day one PS5 drop. Godfall, like they were going for the
Yeah,
live service thing too, and it
mhm,
just didn't work out.
which is
Like
unfortunate. So I think the combat is pretty cool. It's just content and other things.
so much so that where like they're dropping the game on PS4, and I don't think that was their issue. I think that if it was a dope live service game, well, actually, it's I'll take it back. It is part of the issue because people can't play the game, and know
Yeah,
if it's good or not if the console's not even here. So it is definitely part of the issue. But even when I was watching people play, like there was still nothing in it that was like, oh, I want to play this. I want to jump into this. Like all the glitz and glamour and the armor that you showed and whatnot, like it has to be more than that.
for sure. And yeah, so that's why people are generally turned off when they hear companies say, "Oh yeah, we want to make a live service." People hear that, and for the most part, that's kind of true. They're like, "Oh, you just want to make a game that people can spend money on for the next couple of
That's the
years."
first thing I think of.
Yeah, people don't think of, "Oh, you want to make like the next," because these types of games live service, and really, uh, I wouldn't know like the specific definition because I would also think, actually, no, maybe not. Actually, maybe not this. I was gonna say Monster Hunter, but I don't think that would count as a live service because aside from, I
No,
guess you
I wouldn't
can
count
buy
that.
cosmetics, but yeah, you can. There's not enough like expansions and stuff. Um, but yeah, but that's what they said the type of game it is. Right after the Square Enix conference.
Hmm.
So yeah, I hope it's good. I never want games to be bad. I'm not
Nah,
that kind of person.
I was hyped for like Anthem and stuff like that. Like I love games, but like when you don't like fulfill like when the game doesn't fulfill like the expectations, like then it becomes a little interesting. The expectations that the developers put on the game, not the fans. The fans are not like, oh yeah, I'm looking at like, Greedfall, and that's gonna be it. Nah, we're just going off the hype that you give it.
For sure.
It's like when they drop
Yeah,
Anthem, everybody's flying around these Iron Man suits and whatnot, and then you get the game and it's not that. Like that wasn't the fans' fault.
for sure. Yeah. But yeah, it is what it is. Like Bandai Namco's the last one today. I'm not expecting much, but I would like to see more of Tails.
Yeah, yeah. I do want to. Man, I've been itching for
That's
a Tails
looking
game.
nice.
It looks really good. What else is Bandai Namco? Tekken, but we're not gonna see anything from them.
Probably, I don't know what we're gonna say. I don't know what I have to do some research because have heard the least about what Bandai Namco is doing. I just assume like you know it's gonna be either like stuff that's already been announced, DLCs and or expansions.
Hmm.
And that's it. I'm not expecting any new announcements. I would like to hear something about fighters. I don't know if that's gonna happen.
I thought was is Fighters not done?
I thought it looks like I thought it is. Just anything about. Actually, no. Last time it showed up at Xbox though. Um, yeah, just any news or anything. But like, Arc System Works they just did a Guilty Gear. So I'm not expecting much. I would like to see more Rise gameplay though. That's all I want. That's all I'd like to see. If not, it's whatever. I don't really care. It's whatever. I got I'm very excited from some of the stuff I've already seen at E3.
What was been
So
your thing that you're most excited about? What's something that was like, oh yeah, I'm hyped for that.
um nothing. I don't think anything got me really super. Actually,
Amped.
one thing did get me hype to see more of, but I didn't really see anything new. Um, but before that, um, I'm actually really excited for the Halo multiplayer. I think
Yeah.
them going free to play is a solid, nice, solid choice. I don't know if you've seen that. They did a yesterday morning. They had like a little 12-minute video, like going over the details. You should watch that video if
No, I haven't
you're
seen it. I'll
interested.
check it out for sure.
It's like some sort of. Let me see if I can find it. Um, uh, it's like this 12-minute video, and they're going over like, oh no, multiplayer overview.
Mm.
And honestly, some of the stuff they talk about in here should have been, in my opinion, I guess it's kind of hard. It was very long, but I think people would have felt better about everything if some of these things were also in the trailer because they go over their like um, monetization, they go over like customization, uh, yeah, how all that's going to work and everything. There's no loot boxes. They are doing a battle pass system, but they're
Which
doing
is
a
expected.
yeah, yeah. They got to make money somehow.
Like I said, the
Um,
battle pass system works. Like Apex is free, but the battle pass system keeps people entertained in the game, especially if it's good content. I buy the battle pass for Apex
for
every
sure.
year or every like season because it's $10. If your battle pass is like 40, 30, it gets a little interesting. 10 to 20 is solid. You can lock me
For
in for
sure.
that.
Here's the thing, though. In Apex, um, if you play Apex and then don't play for 3 years and then get back into Apex, you've missed all those battle passes, right?
It's true.
Uh, they said, and they say in this video, in Halo, um, those battle passes will actually always stay there. So you can, if you say, if you play Halo and then drop off and then come back in, and you missed like two battle passes, you can still buy that battle pass you missed and like equip it. I don't know the terminology for this, but like have that set so whenever you play, you start earning stuff for that battle
That's
pass.
actually really dope because like
So
it
you there's
takes
no
care of
FOMO
people.
there.
Yeah, it takes yeah, exactly. That's really dope.
So I like that. Of course, that being in mind, I would imagine here their battle passes might be more expensive. I'm
Yeah,
predicting at
because
least.
you kind of have to make up for the fact that you're not adding it into the full. Well, it's not part of the full game. Like first off,
Mhm.
multiplayer is free. The full game is still going to be $60, which I'm still really like not confused, but like what's going to be in it to where like people buy the full game? Is your campaign that large to where it's going to be worth $60? Where is the $60 equivalent to just like a campaign? You know, for Halo.
That's a good question.
So I don't know. And granted, like if it was just a single player Halo experience, it's definitely worth $60. But now that you took it away, what makes it like I gotta buy this game? Because all people bought Halo for the multiplayer. Nobody really plays campaign. At least not like multiple times. At least.
Sure. Yeah, I stopped caring about what Master Chief is up to. I mean, that's the guy, but I'm not really.
But that's just been the case from like day one. Like anytime we had like LAN parties or whatever, like we were just playing multiplayer. We didn't play story. Nobody ever sat there like, yeah, bro, I just beat the Halo
Mhm.
campaign. No, I was like, nigga, let's go, Slayer. Let's
For
do it.
sure. Yeah, betrayal. No,
Like
yeah,
we didn't spend no time on that.
yeah. There's for sure. I'm excited for that, and you should watch that video. They go over,
I'm
they
I'm definitely gonna
clarify
check
some
it out.
things, and
I need to know like just
yeah,
more information on it because I'm interested. I will buy Halo like for the 60 because it's Halo. Like it's still gonna be a great game. Like Halo 5 was a great game. Master Chief Collection, great like revamps of like games. So Microsoft has like a really good like track record when it comes to like Halo. They haven't dropped a bad Halo that I've played since probably what like ODST maybe, and even then like it's not terrible.
for sure.
Um, I will say that like for me watching E3 this year, I think I was excited for was it Ayuden Chronicles or Ayuden
Oh,
Chronicles?
Suikoden's successor.
Yeah. I did not expect that to be on the Microsoft like
Oh yeah,
conference.
have you heard? Have you heard about that?
Nah.
Oh yeah, that's the second game. Well, that's really the first game. I'm excited for it. They had the people who originally did Suikoden had a Kickstarter, I think a year or so ago.
Right. Yeah, I'm familiar with the Kickstarter.
Yeah, that met its goal so fast. It's incredible. There actually is some more gameplay stuff from a couple of years ago up on YouTube if you want to look at some stuff. But I'm very excited for that.
You're like wildly excited. And here's the thing with that though, is that Microsoft is allowing indie devs to be indie devs. You're just backed by Microsoft.
For sure.
If we can put the Xbox title next to it, we're good. We don't want to be in your business. We're not in here trying to like dictate where your games may or may not go. We just want to put the Microsoft name next to it, and you can do whatever you want, right?
Yeah.
If you start doing that with more RPG companies, like I keep saying, Microsoft is bro about to take over the gaming side because no, they're not like Sony is not. Sony and Nintendo are both not being innovative enough, not with the games, but with how people can access and play your games. Game Pass is a phenomenal like tool because I don't have to buy it. I can try it off for free, and if it gets taken off Game Pass, I know that I like the game. I'll buy the game then. But we're not getting that with Nintendo and with PlayStation. We just get no knock to it. Tsushima, Horizon, God of War. Those are all great titles. But after you play those one great titles, then what? How do you keep me entertained in your PlayStation cycle? You know?
For sure. Well, I mean, you could say that, but a lot of stuff, right? I mean, you can just honestly keep saying that. Yeah, I played these games, but then now what? I mean, you just play more of those games.
Well,
I
absolutely.
just think. Oh, go ahead.
I was like, absolutely, like that's definitely true. Like as far as like, how do you keep me entertained after I play any game, right? But the fact that like you're constantly adding, just indie games, games that
Yeah,
people may have not played a while ago. They'll put, well, granted they just did this, but they'll put Dishonored on there. Hey, you want to try Dishonored? We'll put it on there. Just to
yeah.
keep things like
They're
going.
definitely the only company um, doing that. And for me, I think it's. I honestly think they've already taken over. In my opinion, oh my gosh, Max is playing the chaos game. Um, I honestly do think they've already taken over. It's just we don't hear like Game Pass is incredible, and I think it's something that's. I think that's what already like put them um, on top. Honestly, it's just we don't talk about that because people tend to equate success and failures and individual like titles, other than full feature rich like um, feature rich. That's what I'm looking for. I've lost my train of thought.
Like they're not
Not just
like,
individual games, but like systems and
yeah,
such.
like look at the brand, like
Yeah,
overall.
I think yeah. I'm not into this whole. What games does Xbox have? Well, that's not what they're. One, I mean, they're gonna. That's what the acquisition of all of these studios is for. And two, that's not what they're about. They're not like, hey, here are these every couple of years. Here's this one. Here's this God of War. Here's this Ghost of Tsushima. That's what Sony does, and that's fine. Xbox is playing a completely different game. Um, they're not doing this. Oh, here is this game that you can. Here's this the game you can play. Like, no, here's Game Pass. Hey, you know that game you like? You could pay 60 for that. It's on Game Pass though, day one. Um,
We
at least
already
what all
pocket
these
that
other
for you.
studios are doing. Yeah,
And in return, in doing that, you make people buy more Xboxes, or you make them buy Game Pass on PC. Either way, you're still getting some kind of change, right? Because you're
yeah,
like, oh, we put MLB on here. I was gonna buy it. No, I'll play it on Xbox. So now you got
for sure.
more people playing on your like platform, bro, by doing that. And then they're gonna do it with like all their titles. So like Halo will be day one Game Pass. Like you're gonna make people just buy Game Pass. You make more
Yeah,
money with the 15 per person on every console than you do with 16. Like, man, I'll just wait until next time I get paid. I'll take 15 from you right now, you know, and then get another 15 from you next month instead of you buying 60. Like it's the concurrent income instead of just the one base $60. And I know they've made a shit ton of money off of Game Pass. I know it.
Yeah. So for me, that's where Xbox really shines. Yeah, I'm not into at this point. I used to be probably, but I'm not into this whole idea that these they these companies, these systems or whatever, can only exceed in its exclusivity. Right? Like, no, that's not. It's not just that. I believe now, so it's not just that. Like, I don't really care that Xbox doesn't have a like a God of War or Ghost of Tsushima. That's fine. That's not what they're trying to do at this point in time. Because if it comes out, it'll be on PC too,
Right.
and I'm fine with that. I still can't do that for the PlayStation.
It's true.
Um, but I think they all between Sony, um, Xbox, and Nintendo, they all have their strengths and weaknesses. I think they all do
Oh, most
different
definitely.
things.
I would
So
just say, like,
yeah,
as far as like helping gamers out, and that's from like, people who just want to play games, that's from content creators. Like, I feel like Xbox is doing a really good job at that. Like, the overall
yeah, for
aspect
sure.
of gaming, they're touching more like avenues than, say a Sony and Nintendo.
Mhm.
Like, we're what, 2021, right? And you can't talk on a Switch. So you don't even know what kind of, like, not saying that's a big deal breaker and whatnot, but people can't even like stream. They can stream it, but like, party chat with people to then make other people play the game. Like, it's
I
just
don't know
little
what's
stuff.
going on at Nintendo.
It's like just
That
little
I
stuff
can
like
have a
that.
whole, I could have a whole list of the. It's just a bunch of old Japanese people,
But Nintendo said, Nintendo know that we don't have to drop sales. Like, you're gonna buy the game regardless. Like, that just is what it is.
and they're right.
It's a
I,
fact, bro. Like, what you talking
they're
about a sale?
right.
What you talking about? You need party chatting, bro. You don't pick up Mario Kart and shut up. Like, you gonna do it? You like, yeah, all right. I
And
don't like it, but y'all trying to run?
that's me.
Like
That's
that.
me right there.
That's
That's
what it
my
is.
character. That being said, and I think that's fine, honestly. Because I never took a stance that I will refuse to buy.
Nah.
But I'm definitely like against the idea that you can't uh critique something. Um, like for me, I think I'm perfectly fine with being critical of something or someone and still participating in that. I think that's
Mm.
fine for me. Some people will disagree. Like, oh no, you said you hated that, so you shouldn't buy it. I'm like, no, I'm gonna still buy it. Because I never said I wasn't. But here are my complaints and critiques and how I think they can move forward and such. But I digress. Um, yeah, E3 for me, it was cool.
Best part, and like just not even tied to a game. Granted, we didn't talk about Elden Ring either, which I did not see that coming. Like, I knew that they were like the game was coming out, but I did not
Mhm.
like that trailer took me off. Like, I did not know that was happening. I also didn't know that like it was by the Game of Thrones dude. Like, it was,
Oh yeah, yeah.
I did like that's why it threw me for a loop. Like, I didn't know like Elden Ring was tied to George R. R. Martin. Like, I had no idea. Um,
Hmm.
and it's an open world Souls game.
Yeah,
So I know that's all.
that's why
That's
people are.
Yeah, like that's why they're going bonkers for it. Um, that's definitely right up your alley. Me and Souls games are like, yeah, I can do it, but I don't really like doing it. But the best part of E3 for me was Day of the Devs. I
Was
think
what?
Day of the Devs. So after Summer Games Fest, they dropped Day of the Devs, which was just a run of like indie titles. I
Oh yeah, there's
promise
a
you,
lot of. Those are always great.
I promise you, bro. Like, they had some of the best games I've seen. Like I said, I'm off the graphics and what things look like. I'm more focused
Oh
on
yeah,
like
of course.
what your game is and if I play something like it. Um, there was a game on there, I think it's like Loop something, where like you're like on these rafts. And it's kind of like Tetris, but it's not. Oh, what's the name of this game? I gotta find this game now because now I'm just gonna be irritated. Uh, Dev 2021. Let's see, what's the name of this game? Because it was really dope. It is called Loot River. It's an action roguelike where you're on these rafts and you're just trying to like, I wish I could show the trailer. Can I show the trailer? I can show the trailer. Why not? Why not show the
You
trailer?
just send it to me. I'm sorry. Max is playing this game and he just said chaos. It gets me every time. I don't know why.
But while I'm sending this, inside like daily devs, like there's also a game called Death's Door that I was like, yo, it's like the Crow Zelda kind of like not clone but very like similar. There's a game that's where you're just nothing but you're just fishing in like this town called Moonglow Bay. Like there's so many really good games inside daily dev. It was ridiculous, bro.
Oh
And they're
yeah,
all like
those are
indie.
probably yeah. I had yeah that game on the wish list. I would imagine. Um, I'm getting very distracted. I'm sorry.
No, you good.
Um, he just took off his clothes. He actually looks better. That's crazy. When he's not wearing that T-shirt,
Uh,
that's crazy. Anyways, anyways, yeah, I would imagine the same games that appeared there is the same games that appeared in the Guerrilla Collective. It's the same games that appeared in like the Wholesome Direct or like the feature. That's sorry, not a. Yeah, actually, yeah, feature games show and stuff like that. Because they all, I was watching all of those and like I saw the like this repeat games, which is fine, but I always watch those for the indies.
it was just good. Like these games, man. I'm telling like indies are crazy. And what's crazy that like a lot of these I'm seeing like coming on Game Pass, coming on Game Pass, coming on Game Pass. Not to jump back on the Xbox thing, but once again, people are playing these games, and that's what you want at the end of the day.
For sure.
And I'm really excited for where indies are going. Like they're looking really, really good. Now, with that being said, yeah, coming to Game Pass or whatnot, but I will still say, the place to play these indies are definitely Switch. Like Switch is the best indie console like ever.
Yeah.
Because the games are not like, graphically intensive and you can just run them. Like it's the best way to play indies is the Switch. Period.
Yeah.
But yeah. Definitely best part is daily dev. I would definitely suggest you go and check those out. There's a lot of good games in there. There was a game in there called Road 96 where it's like procedurally generated and you're on this road just trying to get to the border, but everybody's story is going to be different. And I thought that was like just insane. I love random action games that people like to where my playthrough is going to be different from your playthrough. I don't want it to be necessarily like sloppy to where like, what do I mean by that? Like, there's some games that do that, but it makes no sense. But for a game called like Road 96, where like legitimately, I would assume that you would take a road and like it's just everybody's path is going to be different. That's tight to me.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely go back and check those out, man. They got one made by Rose City Games called Garden Story, which also looks pretty cool. I'm going to play that one too.
All right. I'll
Yeah.
have to look at this, see if there's anything I missed.
Yes, indeed. Oh damn! I didn't send you the link. I was just watching the trailer. Whoops.
No, I have a literally an article that's like here's all of the games that was on Day of the Dev. Oh, they showed my game. They showed Unbeatable. Let's go.
Oh, like the Scott Pilgrim like musical joint.
Yes.
Yeah,
Have you
that
played
would.
that game yet?
No, I downloaded the demo on Steam like the day of, and I was like, yo, I want to play this. This looks dope. This looks mad dope.
Yes. So here's the funny thing about Unbeatable. I discovered it by accident a couple months ago.
Mm-hmm.
I was on Kickstarter, uh, and such, and then like literally at the bottom of this game I was looking at, it's like, oh, you looked at this. We recommend, Unbeatable. And I was like, what game is this? And I saw the trailer, and it was the best trailer I've ever seen, as
Yeah.
far as like getting me excited to play something.
Yeah.
Um, and I was like, oh, that's sick. So showed Flanders. I was like, hey, look, check this game out. This game's a Kickstarter. They have a demo. I sent it to you. I don't know if you remember that or got it uh, a while ago. Probably not, because I'm pretty sure it was the same day I sent you Cockhead too. So you might have not even for the second time.
Boy,
Which, by the way, you still need to play.
that will never
Just
happen.
letting you know. There's a
Never.
second game I gotta gift you too that I
Don't,
think you're
please
gonna
don't.
like.
I don't want your gifts from Steam. They're never games that I want. They're games that you just want to see me like anguish
Yeah,
and
this is a game I'm about to
I
get you
please
here.
please don't.
Get you here soon. Um,
Please don't.
anyways, um, yeah, here's the funny thing about Unbeatable. So I was going through all this process. I played their Kickstarter demo, and then they released one on Steam, and I played their Steam one um, for a bit. I actually got really into it. Played. There's one song I can do with the max level, but I can pretty much play any of the songs on like at least hard or
Mm-hmm.
the second to last highest difficulty, um, and such. I was getting really into it. This was a couple months ago. Um, so I was at a wedding, um, right? I went to my homeboy got married 2 weeks ago. I went to his wedding. It was a cool little wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it was my homeboy and my homegirl because I met them both at the U. And I was talking to one of the groomsmen, right? The One of the groomsmen because I've never met. I knew one of them. I knew only one of them because one of the groomsmen. There's three groomsmen. One of the groomsmen I already knew because he was also my homeboy. I met everybody at the same time. This friend group. But this other groomsman I didn't know. We were talking for a bit and such, and just having a conversation or whatever. I'm talking about, my interest in game design or whatever. It's just me, some friends, and this groomsman. I believe his name is Tyler. Um, and Tyler is like, "Oh, I overheard like y'all talking about, you doing game design and stuff." And I was like, "Oh yeah." He's like, "Yeah, that's actually pretty cool. I actually do music for games."
Hmm.
I'm like, "Really?" I'm like, "Oh, that's what's up." He's like, "Yeah, that's dope. We're working on a game right now called Unbeatable." And I was like, I was like, "What?" I was like, "No, no." And then Flanders was there too. Me and Flanders was like, "What? Unbeatable?" He's like, "Yeah,
That's funny.
have you heard of it?" And I was like, "How have I
I
heard of
heard
it?"
it. I
I was like,
love this game.
I backed the game. I did this. I did that." He was like, "What?" He's like, "No, we're not." And Flanders showed like, "This is the game you're talking about, right?" He's like, "Yeah." Like he's like, "What? How did
That's
y'all
funny.
find that?" This is not like a big game at all, which is crazy because the game met its goal in like a day. So like
That's wild.
it's fairly popular. And it's just like it's one of those small world things.
Right.
He does because the band that does all the music for that game is two people. He does the plays guitar and does the arrangements and composes everything.
Mm-hmm.
And the other person, the other girl, uh, she does the vocals. So it's them two, and they do the music for Unbeatable. And it's funny. And sure enough, I looked it up, and his social media and everything. Yeah,
He was that guy.
he's he's the guy.
He was
So
him.
it was hilarious. I actually have to hit him up again because he was like, "Yo, if you want, like, we have extra copies for like the soundtrack of the game and such. If you want one," he was drunk when he said this though, so I don't know. He was like, "If you want one, like, let me like this is incredible. Let me know. We should talk more." Um, well, I'm gonna be talking to him. I told him I want to buy it though. I always
Yeah, for
before he
sure. Because like
yeah.
from what I heard in the trailer, music sounds great.
Oh yeah, it's good. Uh, Proper Rhythm is in like my playlist. I like that song. I know that means nothing to you because you don't know that song, but Proper Rhythm, that's the one of the best tutorial songs I've played.
I'm gonna have to check that
Um,
out. 'Cause I have, like I said, I have the demo downloaded. Like I'm
you
was
should
meaning to
play it.
play it. I'm definitely gonna play it.
And I'm not. I say this as somebody I don't like rhythm games. I'm more of a fan of like here's a rhythm game side thing, and like a
Hmm.
Yakuza or another game. I'll play that. But just rhythm games, like I'm not really
So like no like
a
Guitar Hero
fan
or
of.
nothing like that.
Yeah, like I'm not really into all that.
I couldn't get
Unusual is
into
great.
was it Crypto the Necromancer where that one's like rhythm? It threw me off.
Yeah, that's
Which is
yeah.
weird because for a black person to be thrown off in a rhythm game, so it says a lot. But something about
There's a
that
lot
was
going on
it was just like I couldn't like I couldn't catch the beat. I could not
for sure.
get the rhythm at all.
Yeah, that's all good. This yeah, it's pretty good. I like it a lot. That was just hilarious, and I was like, "There's no way these dudes worked on the same Unbeatable." And sure enough, he's the same guy, and it was just yeah, one of those things where like, wow, this is a small world. How I literally just discovered this game a month ago, and I just met the composer at
Right.
one of my homeboys' weddings. That's crazy. So yeah, I'm glad Unbeatable was at this event because I want
It
people to know
looked
about
it was one of the few games that caught my eye because like just the animation, like that's just what we know. But then I start like watching it and like, oh, this is dope. Like it's action, it's fast paced, the music sounds great, like it looks good. I want to play this.
that. Yeah,
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 which
you
just
should.
doubles back. Like, bro, Daily Dev, it had some heat. There's some, and most of it's coming out this year.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if all of it was. That's how what the case was for a lot of these. Yeah, I'm looking at some of these. Some of these I actually didn't know about. Some of them did show up other places as well, but a lot of these um, I did not know about. I wonder how they're not here, but I wonder why they weren't at some of the other. Because yeah, all of those. Since you're talking about Day of the Dev, you should check out what's it called? The Future Games Show and the Gorilla Collective. Those are also big indie events. The Future Games Show this year though was a little weird, um, but it still had some stuff you could see, but the footage is a little weird. But a Gorilla Collective was pretty good.
It's a
That's
Gorilla
always my, and I guess
Collective.
PC gaming show too.
Yeah,
Um,
and I should have like watched that, but it was like a lot going on.
for sure.
It's a Gorilla Game
Oh,
Show
Gorilla Games Collective.
Collective. Yeah, I'll check that one out too.
Right.